What if your Zoom calls were automatically turned into clips of your best moments and dozens of pieces of content, ready to be posted within minutes of your call being done? My name is Francis Waldecker, and I've spent the last 10 years building marketing campaigns and systems that have generated over $10 million in revenue and 10 million words for clients. I built the automated content system I've always wanted that strategically leverages AI to optimize your words to create quality content that sounds like you instead of soulless generic templates or AI slop. And now I want to share it with you as part of my build in public series. And in this video, I'm going to show you my entire system that turns any Zoom call into dozens of clips and content for pennies without me needing to manage a team or hire an agency. And then over the next series of videos, I'm going to show you exactly how I set everything up, how I think through building these systems so that you can automate your own content repurposing system. So if you have a Zoom folder filled with hidden gems from talking with clients, students, or anything like that, that you wish the world could see, this might just be the video that you're looking for. And what I'm going to basically be doing today is going over kind of an introduction here. So if I can take a step back for a second, um, I've been working with coaches, agencies, all over online world for the last 10 years. And I found that AI has gotten to a point where it's still not good enough to create content for you, right? Like we can always tell almost immediately when something's been AI written. Because the best you can normally do is give it a prompt with a little bit of background about you, a few generic things about you and what your business is, blah blah blah. But it doesn't have those stories, those details about you, that really needs to write good stuff. And maybe one day we'll get there. I don't know. I am super pro AI. I think it's doing amazing things. And watching it develop over the last 4 years I've been working with AI is just insane. 4 years ago, I would have told you that AI is like complete garbage and it's not worth doing. I could write things way faster than trying to prompt it to get whatever I want. 2 years ago, ChatGPT released and didn't have to use the API anymore. And it was like, oh man, this is something. This is becoming something. And I can say over the last year, everything that I have produced for clients, that they pay me to do has been written by AI. And I've never gotten more compliments, over the content I create. It's never done better. Um, and it's all thanks to AI's ability to essentially take your words, and restructure them, right? And I think that's how AI is best utilized right now. This whole entire workflow, these other three workflows, are all designed to essentially um, rewrite content for you, right? So this one takes your Zoom calls, downloads the videos, downloads the transcripts, everything it needs, puts it into a specific Google Drive folder, and creates an Airtable record to kick off this automation here, which uses your own brand kit, brand voice, to find the best moments, right? Creates clips out of them, takes those clips, captions, crops them, makes them look pretty, decides if they're screen share and does a screen share split and everything like that. And then it sends it down this copywriter path to create quotes and images. Well, just quotes here. The image is another path. Or pretty much any kind of content you want, right? I have mine set up, and here's my Airtable base. And all these actions are what kind of make this thing run. And we'll be going through all the stuff throughout the series, like I said. But right now, I'm just trying to give you an overview, so you can begin to see how how I think about this stuff. And to take a step back, one of the big reasons that I'm sharing this is because as I've been building this system out and watched different YouTube creators and videos of these N8N templates and AI automations. They're really neat, and cool proofs of concept, but for the most part, they're just not really going to be a good, useful business thing, unless you're someone who only creates content about like news and you're trying to create like viral news videos, or the faceless videos, right? VO3 and those things can do some really cool stuff with faceless videos now, but most of these like AI things around content just don't do a great job, and it's because they really just try to automate the process of like feeding it crap information. And where it excels is if you can give it good information, like your entire YouTube, or excuse me, your entire video transcript, right? And um, if you ever used a system like Opus Clips or software like Opus Clips, this is basically like Opus Clips rebuilt and automated to attach to your Zoom call, and cost pennies to create clips, right? I think it's like 6 cents to get me about 12 clips for this, and they're done. I can do as many times as I want just by sending this back through here. And the reason this all works is because of these actions. And shout out to Stephen G. Pope, who's an incredible AI automation guy who has done a lot of good stuff, and I've learned a lot from him. And this actions table is kind of based around his idea for organizing content. So what all this does is it just fires off this webhook through an Airtable automation, right? So I've got all these different automations that make this run. And it runs this script. And essentially, what this script does is it pulls in everything for that record, but then also the content from, or the record from the brand table associated with that brand. Um, It excludes some fields that we don't need. Then also grabs the info from the actions table and the variables table. I'll go through those in a few minutes. And we don't really need to like go through all of this, but basically it's just formatting it all in the right way to send this webhook. Um, and the cool thing now about AI too, especially like if you use Claude, it can help you write all of this. If you just tell it exactly like what you need, this is not difficult code for it to write. This isn't that vibe coding stuff of like building out software applications and things like that. This is very like straightforward things that are easy to have AI do. Um, so it runs this action and then basically just updates the record to remove the action so that it doesn't get stuck or you have to do it manually. And then if we jump over to here, that's this webhook step, right? So I have this webhook set up um, that grabs all the information and it runs through the Airtable to get the record. Because what we first need to do is pull the record just because of the way this all works. Um, the webhook doesn't fire off everything that we need necessarily. And then these next three nodes are just getting the different documents that we need from the brands table, right? So content doc that actually comes with the record that we're looking to transform. The brand kit, design kit, and prompt doc are all coming from this brands table here. So I've set it up so that you can have multiple brands. And what this will do is send different prompts through the AI nodes to create content that's specific to you, right? Let me pull this up. Like, here's my brand kit. And basically, like, what this does is it gives the AI kind of guideposts on the type of content I want to make, what I want to be known for, things like that. So, like, when it's going through, here's a transcript, right? When it's going through this transcript, looking for the clips and the best moments, it's referencing or excuse me, not clips, but content. When it's going through this transcript or the clips to create content, it's looking through that lens and finding content based around those things, right? So let me go back to my brand kit here. Um, Big reason I'm creating this is freeing coaches to coach, right? I believe that most coaches have gotten into this space for because they want to help people, because they want to teach people this thing that they're really good at. They don't want to build this business that scales and does this, right? I know there are those people out there, and some get into it for those reasons. That's cool and that's great. I love you guys. But for a lot of coaches, and like I'm one of them, like that we're looking to create a lifestyle business, right? Like I've paused this video a couple times now because my kid's around and you want to go fishing and they need to get picked up because it started raining. It's things like that. They happen, they come up. Um, but when you have like a lifestyle business, you can do those things. And I can go fishing with him later, stuff like that. And that's the kind of life I want to live. And I think it's cool that AI has like is really like empowering everybody to be able to create more content. I think that's gonna be the biggest thing that we see with the rise of AI. A lot more of our jobs are going to be stuff like this, creating content like this. And you're starting to see a rise in these more kind of like how to videos and just like build in public and sharing these kind of things where they don't have an agenda, where they don't have, well, a little bit of agenda, right? There's a few things I want to show you, like an overview of the system, the things I've learned along the way, putting 1,000 hours into building this over the last couple months, um, what I'm working on and building out next, and like how this series is going to go. Um, and that's the cool thing about AI and like what I'm building here is like it's making it super easy to systemize these processes without needing staff. Because like I've managed people both like online and working for Sears and things like that, Target, and I just don't like managing people, right? Like I don't want to spend my day managing and stuff, all that. Like I want to build these systems and more of these systems, and like yeah, the people who want to build the agencies and those big businesses, like that's those are whoops they're the ones that can like fill up this brand table with like 100 clients if they want. Go for it. Like I want to fill this up with my own personal brands. I'm just kind of messing around creating different kind of content with. That's what I'm building this for. Um, and that's kind of what I'm doing is building this in public, showing um, how easy this is to do now with AI, what's possible, helping you guys put these systems into your business too. Um, all this kind of cool stuff that we're able to do with AI right now without needing to build a big team. And um, I'm taking a little bit of a new philosophy and approach of building this for myself first. Um, and showing people how I do that. And then hopefully you can either build it for yourself or if you want help with it, let me know. But back on track, going through here, um, every time this webhook fires, and you'll see for these actions. Most of it's, a lot of these are the same webhooks, but I do have a couple different ones. Um, I like having a workflow like this, and we'll kind of start with the logic, is especially with content, you can do a ton more stuff if you just have this little workflow where it feeds in like all the base content. And then really all I did with this code node is go to ChatGPT and told it to really format it in a certain way that like it's easy to put all this together because like sometimes depending on what's getting sent we don't get a content doc, right? All the clips, the transcripts are right here, but the content we keep it all in, well, not the quotes. See, the quotes are also in a description, but if we have articles, here's all content, right? So you have articles and stuff like that. It gets put in here. So this is filtering for that. And like I said, we'll go into all of this in another video. I'll kind of walk you through like step by step. But this first one is just kind of an introduction to show the system I built and get some feedback and see what people want to dive more into. And then I have 3 paths set up by job roles here, ideator, copywriter, creative director, video editor. And I like thinking of these workflows in terms of job roles. I think that's a big thing that people really struggle with when they're getting into like the automation stuff, and especially with like the rise in like AI agents. I'm still not a big fan of like agentic workflows yet, unless it's more like conversational based, because they can still be pretty unreliable, right? So I would rather take the time to build out all of these nodes in a very direct way with very specific instructions, right? Like for the video editor role, this first one identifies the clips, and then the second one goes back and refines it. It makes sure that it's actually interesting, it meets brand standards, all that good stuff. Um, and that's the cool thing about these no code and low code systems is you can get that sort of detail and granularity that actually makes this stuff good. Because if if you're one of those people who've used any of the tools and the different content scheduling, social media scheduling softwares where it's like AI to help you write your content. Like it's based on like viral generic stuff that appeals to, everyone and no one type of thing. And it's never going to be good. But when you have, and here, let me pull up my prompt doc. When you have all these prompts in here, right? This is the one for the video editor, giving it all the requirements, what it needs. The crop and scale, it's just I'll get into that another time. It doesn't actually need prompts for these. But it does use the prompt doc to know like what to do, right? And that's kind of like the cool thing about this system too is updating it is very easy. It's just coming in here and changing any of these prompts in here, and that will automatically get fed into the system at the appropriate time, like based on these actions, right? So you'll see um, these IDs right here correlate to these, right? And that's how it tells the system which prompt to take and and where to go. So right, ID 6, copywriter, that pulls it down the copywriter path. And then this code then is designed to go into look at all the prompts with the copywriter job role and grab the one that matches that action ID. And I also even have one set up with, come on, this copywriter one that the code node here says if the action ID is 18 for copywriter, right? You can see get all the prompts. And what that does is it allows me to automate this system, the entire process, so that when I drop one Zoom call in, it first goes down this workflow to create all these clips. Um, I use this endpoint. This is the No Code Architects, which is a really great API that lets you edit videos on the fly like this, where I can pass in different start and stop points based on what the AI finds, and it'll cut the clips like that, right? So um, one of those finished clips is like this. That was what I'm testing out. Let's try this one. There we go. So you got this one. Where is here, screen share? See, and then we've got the screen share one, so it'll figure out if it's a screen share. Crop that. I just got my hair cut, so that was wild man me a little while ago. Um, so yeah, it does that. And to get it from your full size Zoom video to crop properly, it then sends it down this workflow again, right? And you can see we're using like different points in here with AI to make sure that we can add those little custom nice features, right? And this one detects the face um, and figures out where the face is, so it sends in the right coordinates to crop it there. Or detects if it's a screen share, and then sends it down the screen share path. And the cool thing too, with it being the no code is that I have the ability to grab all of the videos. So I can use the active speaker video at the bottom and then the screen share video at the top. And I'm not trying to crop out that like tiny little video that's up in the corner, right? And that's something that's super cool that you can't get with a platform like Opus Clips or things like that. And then the other part too that this this took me 2 days to figure out, but how to do the caption placement. So that if we do have oops, one of these screen share videos, right? Because you'll notice, oh, this one put it at the top. Um, that one put it at the top. There we go. So part of this caption process, I have the AI analyze the thumbnail of the video, figure out where to put the captions to make sure A, it's not over anybody's face, right? Because like if you look at this versus the screen share, let's get to a point where there are captions. There we go. It's up higher, so it's not right over my face. Because like, let me see if I can find one. Oh, come on. Of course, when you want to find the bad one, it's not there. Maybe this one will be. Yeah, there we go. Right. So that's what I noticed when I did the screen share. First, it was like right over my face. I'm like, well, no one wants that. Um, so I said, oops, now it's like this. And then the other thing too is it goes into my design kit and grabs my brand colors and puts them in here. And also too, like I also gave it instructions so that it makes sure it's high contrast, right? Like nothing's worse than when you see captions over something, you can barely read them. So it figures all this out automatically for me, right? So like if this would have been whatever the teal color that it is, it would have picked a different color. So that's super cool and also makes it like really easy to change out here. Let me see. Those are a bunch of clips, bunch of tests I've been doing. Here we go, the design kit. Here's a spray version. Right, so these are all the acceptable colors that I can choose from. So grab any of those based on what the background is. And that was a really fun thing to add. And like that's the stuff I love doing and why I'm building this and why I'm making these videos. Because I just want to build more cool things like this and share them with people. And if you think they're cool too, then you're my kind of people and I want to talk with you. Um, yeah, so that whole process is automated because we have these actions set up that fire off these webhooks and work on this job role um, kind of structure framework here, right? And what then it does is it allows you like a lot more freedom with these. So, right, it automatically creates all a bunch of different content and stuff here. Like you can show, got different images of stuff. I'm playing around with, what I want all these images to look like. Right, this one was cool. This one turned out really well. This one didn't. That's okay. Like to have it create these three images for me costs, I don't know, 10 cents. And I can just redo it anytime I want. I send it through the action and I get more pictures. And that's a cool thing too about the system, right? And where I think a lot of people go wrong with how they use AI is they're expecting these perfect outputs right away. I mean, like, look, I've created 280 video clips, like testing out different things on the system over um, the last couple weeks here as I've like rebuilt this whole thing from the ground up um, to be more usable like that rather than just like my internal workflows. Um, And I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, um, it's not gonna be perfect right away. Um, and if you don't like it, you just send it back through, right? It'll take a minute, 2 minutes, depending on how many pieces of content you're automating at once, like 5, 10 minutes for it to run through, and you get another version of it. And I'm gonna be building out like a revision notes feature in here too that'll pull that in. Um, so just like if you were working with an agency or a contractor, a new employee and stuff like that, and they put a clip out and you're like, I don't know if I really like that starting point, or um, if they put content or an image like, I don't know if I really like that image like that. Can you go and redo it? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. The thing with people, and depending on like the agency stuff, it could take a day, at the best, a couple hours, but could be a day, 2 days, something like that, just depending on like how their queue is set up. But with this, just run it through and it gets new content in minutes here. Let's see what's next. That copywriter workflow, right? Let's dive into that here. And I have it set up um so that when the action comes through, right, it uses this code node to pick whether it's the copywriter and it sends them all through, or just one. And what's really cool about this is I've set this code node up to go send it through one at a time, um, which allows me to use variables like this, where we pull that content record, that brand kit, and then the specific prompt from the prompt doc and send it through the same workflow, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's writing an email, writing a Facebook post, writing a tweet thread, blog post. Like it doesn't matter what kind of written content it is. It can come through this workflow. You don't have to build out new workflows for um, different pieces of content. And then what's going to be next here is this copy chief flow. So once it goes through here, creates it, then it'll come back through, um, grade it. Here, let me grab an example. I think this was one. Yeah, so I'm still working on like the rubric and grading criteria and stuff like that, but um, this grades against your brand kit and the instructions that you give it there, just to make sure, right? Like one big thing I try to include is like negative words, and things we don't want to use. So then it actually sounds like, something decent. And still working, my next phase is going to be like fine tuning these prompts. That's the thing I really love doing with is the prompt side of things. So I'm gonna be fine tuning this and figuring out exactly like what kind of content like I want to make, and like taking you guys along for the ride and showing you how I think about prompting and how I update all this stuff. Because like while this email is a good start, it's not quite exactly like what I want yet. So it still needs some work. But yeah, like generally speaking, like I don't think this is terrible. Frankly speaking, turn AI into your personal chief of staff. Words I like. Train the bot once, reclaim hours forever. So I have to get rid of this or tell it like, oh, come up with a new headline. Don't just repeat the subject line, right? Meal plans steal willpower. Workout choices drain morning focus. Daily scheduling feels like juggling knives. One meta prompt locks in your tastes and goals. The bot spits out menus, reps, and calendar blocks. You spend 6 seconds. So, right, this isn't terrible. It's not my favorite. I think I kind of had it go a little bit too much like on the concise, smart language, things like that. Um, and this was, like I said, it's testing it, it's running through it. That's the thing, just like with any other kind of content you produce, it's a never-ending cycle of like iterating testing. It's just the cool thing now with having AI in these prompts is it greatly leverages what you're able to produce and test, right? So like now if I want the different there you go. My email copywriter, um, if I want to change something here, I will change it here, and then I can run it through 10 clips right away. Um, and it'll rewrite all of those clips and be like, okay, yeah, those are good. Those aren't good. And then the ones I do like and are good, I can feed it back into ChatGPT and Claude and be like, hey, these are great. I want it to be more like this, update the prompt like that, right? And every basically like every week when I was working with clients, I'd be updating these prompts um, and refine these prompts based off the conversations that we'd have, their feedback on the content that they liked, updates they wanted to have, things like that. So over time, these just get really, really good, where they can spit out a lot of content really well. And again, that's the cool thing about this system is like if you don't like, I don't like which one is C90, C90. If I didn't like it, I go and I change the prompt, and I click write email, and it goes back through and it rewrites it for me. Boom, there you go. And it's done in seconds, right? I don't have to wait for the copywriter hired to respond to me, argue with me about the changes I want to make, begrudgingly go make them. Takes a couple days because he's got other clients he's like all that stuff. Like I don't have to worry about that now. If I don't like it, I come to the prompt, I change the prompt, I send it back through. Um, and there you go, right? And another thing I'm working on and planning to add into this is something that like will auto update the prompts, and then like have a copy chief that's more dynamic where um, we're pulling in your actual stats, views and things like that from the different content you're putting out. And based on like what's performing well, it will like rewrite and figure it out from there. So that's something I'm working on um, next. I'm pretty excited about that. And then in tomorrow's video, what I'm gonna be doing is rebuilding this workflow to prep videos for YouTube, right? So the main reason I'm recording this video today as episode one of the Build in Public is to get something that I can send through my system tomorrow and show you guys exactly like how I update this and change this for specific content types, right? So right now this is set up for me just like brain dump ideas. The way I was using this before, I implemented the video stuff was I'd go for a walk in the woods with my dog and just record something on fireflies and then upload it and it would transform it here into a bunch of ideas for content and stuff like that. And that's a something like really important I want to kind of like make note of with these systems is it's cool to be able to start building these out for yourself, realize they don't work, and then continue to update them. And it set me down a path that has like created something way cooler because this first iteration of it was just these three workflows where I'd send a bunch of ideas, brain dump in from my walks, and then it would help me turn those either into posts and then images with those posts. And one of the main things I was trying to do was, short video clips where I'd have it like turn my ideas into videos that I could then record. And I just never did, right? I never did it and was just terrible about doing it. So talking with a friend who is a coach was like, hey, I wish I could get video clips from my Zoom calls, like better, more. Like it's just such a pain to do that right now. I have a guy, but like still don't like the process. So I'm like, well, and that's what set me on the path to creating this video thing. I thought it was something I could be doing a week, but it's much harder, especially when you're working with big video files and stuff like that from Zoom and all these different integrations. But I'm super excited and proud of what I built here, and how it works because, again, like edited hundreds of videos for clients over the last few years and turned them into clips. And even with stuff like Opus clips or Descript stuff, like it's still like a pain in the ass process. And now with this, as soon as I hit end on the call, it's going to turn it into content for me. Well, not this time. I turned the system off so that I can build out the new YouTube workflow for myself because what I'm doing is like building in public. I've always wanted to make content. I never really wanted to make copywriting content. Mainly just because it gets too claim heavy of like and all that. And but I love AI. I think AI is super cool and it's something that everybody needs to start using and understanding because it is only going to get more and more into our daily lives. And I think it's a ways off from like totally replacing us, but if you learn how to use and leverage it, you can make your life so much easier, so much better, and so much more enjoyable. I have not had this much fun creating content for clients ever. Maybe not ever, but in a long time. It's been a long time since I've been doing this because I can do so much cooler things with AI using it as a thinking assistant, helping me plan out more stuff and organize my thoughts and do things like this. And now it's to a point where I've got a system that's built that will automatically turn these videos into clips so that all I have to do is download them and post them. I'm still not a big fan of the auto publishing stuff. I'll probably build out one of those workflows soon, but I like publishing by hand. I think it just seems it seems to work well. There's just so many issues with every auto publisher I've ever used, but that's a I don't know, could be something we tackle together. Um, but what I am going to be tackling tomorrow is how to turn this and prep this for YouTube, right? So what our goal will be is that it will take probably just the screen share video. If we're being honest for YouTube, it'll do the screen share video, make it nice, um, chapters, description. We'll have a prompt that'll create an image thumbnail for it, all that stuff, and just have it ready to go. I might do the auto upload to YouTube. I think that's a pretty reliable and easy one. Plus, I have all the Google authentication stuff set up. So I'll be walking through all that tomorrow and showing like how I do that and set that up. And then really kind of show and see how easy it is to expand and update this system. Um, I think that's really all I've got to say for now. Anybody who actually made it this far, thank you so much for listening. This is episode one of the Building in Public. Like I said, I've written 10 million words of content for clients, help clients create hundreds of hours of video, coach them through it, create videos with them, but never create anything for myself. And really excited to be changing that and doing this now and really just sharing all the things I know about AI and what's going on in the AI world.